Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, November 25th. It is 6:22 right now. We got market opening up in about 8 minutes. Looking at the entries for today, guys, I mean, obviously you can see the algo is adapting to the current statistics, and there's just not really any entries for 6 o'clock, which is good because, what we've noticed over the um, past couple weeks is that the 6 o'clock entries are too volatile and it's been just all over the place. So I'm glad that there's less entries between 6 o'clock, 6:30 and 7, and there's more entries after 7. So looking forward to see those entries come up. But I'll give it a few moments for people to make their way in, and then we'll get started shortly. See who's here so far. Morning, Mendez. Morning, Karen. Morning, everybody. It's like people are still making their way in. Let's see what else we got here. I'm gonna refresh this, even though I haven't really been looking at it. I think this is pretty good. It's pretty good that we have a lot of downtime between now and like 7 o'clock, so I can like fully prepare with regard to like chart analysis and stuff like that. I feel like before we were kind of rushed into the analysis a lot of the times because market would just we jump right into the market because all the entries were earlier around 6. So we do have one 6 o'clock entry here at 6:32. It's not a target entry, but it is a 6 o'clock entry nonetheless. All right, so it looks like people are still making their way in. So I'll give it a few moments for people to continue joining, and then we'll get started shortly. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we will get started in a few moments here. I believe we had some news this morning as well. So we had ADP employment change weekly, retail sales, PPI, core PPI year over year, month over month. So we had producer price index information released today, at 5:30. We'll see how the market reacted to it. Let me just pull up the chart real quick. So we had some big pushes right here. This was actually before it, pre-market at 4:42. At 5:30, when the actual news came out, there wasn't very much movement, but there was a ton of movement over here at 4:42. A little unusual, but I'm assuming that's just like, pre-movement building up to the PPI today. You got to keep in mind this is it's a holiday week. Yeah, it is a holiday week, so market may be moving a little slower. Let me see how far did that actually push up. Let me go and just measure this real quick. Pushed up pretty heavily, about 150 points almost. Pre-news. So, all right, guys. Morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, November 25th. It is 6:26 right now. We have market opening up in about 4 minutes. Um, Still looks like people are making their way in. So again, if you guys are just joining in, we just talked about this a few moments ago. The algo is adapting with the market. So you can see over here, we don't really have very many entries around 6 o'clock, right? Prior, we had a lot of entries closer to 6 versus 7. Now, because the entries aren't really, the volatility has been kind of crazy earlier, there just hasn't been too many entries showing up right here. So this is a good thing. We want the entries to show up a little later because this is where the volatility tends to kind of slow down a little bit, right? So we don't experience as much slippage. So there's only one entry at 6:32, which is a non-targeted entry, and then everything else is after 7, which is good. Um, and we'll kind of just see as they come up, obviously. I mean, I'll look for the 6:32 entry. I'm not going to take it, of course, but we'll take a look at it. MSC each morning. But yeah, like I just mentioned over here, so the entry at 6:32, it's going to have a weighted average of 63%, overall of 60%. Buy percentage of 66, sells for 54. History, it's won 3 out of the previous 4 entries, so the direction for this is going to be for a buy. We got market opening up shortly in about 2 minutes. So again, we will be looking for a possible buy here as we get closer to 632. If you guys are looking to take the breakout on open, it's going to be, well, we'll know in a few moments, but it's not a target entry or it's not an entry at all. So if you guys do want to take the breakout on open, it's going to be with momentum, of course. By default, it's with momentum. Unless it's on the list over here, it's going to always be with momentum. So we'll see what's up in a few guys. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, um, ready for market open here. So let's take a look at the overall trend for today. Overall trend over here is pretty much bullish across the board. It looks like here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, shorter time frames. Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. So that indicates that bullish bias is likely here for the shorter time frames. Looking over here on the higher time frames, the 30 minutes also bullish. The 1 hour is bullish and the 4 hour is bearish. So it's a little mixed here. Very high time frames are bearish. Lower time frames are bullish. Now looking over here at price structure. So price structure over here shows that the 1 minute is currently very strong bullish, 5 minutes neutral, 15 minutes strong bullish, 30 minutes bullish, 4 hours bullish, 1 hour is neutral. So with that being the case, we have more of a bullish bias over here with regard to technical analysis. With that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and mark some structure up over here. So we have a resistance, which is right here. This is a resistance. We have a previous resistance right here. We have a support level, which is right here. We have previous support also right here. Another support level right there. And one more support level right here. So we got this huge bullish candle right here, guys. Market's gonna open shortly in about a few seconds. Direction for the breakout today is gonna be a buy if anybody's looking to take that. But yeah, here's market open. So we got market open right there. Price is pushing up. Like I mentioned, if you're taking the breakout, it's for a buy today. By default, it's always with momentum. It's already hit target right there for 50 points. So if you guys are going for that right there, this is the breakout on open. It's not one of the target entries or one of the entries at all with regards to the algo, but market is now open right there. Price is pushed up. That's the first entry that you would be looking for if you're looking to take the breakout. So if you're looking for the original breakout on open, it's always going to be by default with momentum, unless it's on the list over here. It's going to be with momentum. So that's the first one. We have the next one over here at 632. This is also going to be with momentum. Has a 63% weighted average, 60% overall. And we'll see where this ends up going. All right, so if you guys are looking to take the entry, if you guys are just joining in, we just talked about this about a few minutes ago. So if you look at the algo, guys, it's adapting to the market, right? Obviously, we've talked about this. The 6 o'clock entries have so much slippage that there's just not very many opportunities there to take. So you can see here from the algo, it's adapting. There's not very many high quality entries around that time period, right? We only have one entry right here at 6:32. Everything else is after 7 o'clock, which is good because this is what we wanted. We wanted trades to come up a little later because there's not as much crazy volatility like this right here, right? This volatility is pretty crazy at the moment. I mean, if you guys are looking to take these entries, the breakout is still running further. It already hit 80 points right there. So if you're doing the 40-80, that one right there shot right through. 632 is about to close right now. If you guys want to take this entry, this is about to set up for 632. It's not a target entry, but It is here on the list. As we talked about over the past couple weeks, these 6 o'clock entries, you got to be really careful because there's going to be a lot of slippage if you do enter this due to the extreme volatility. The ATR is currently at 32 right now. It's not like horrible like the other previous days, but it's still pretty high. So you got about 29 seconds until then, and then we have a big gap between 6:32 and 7 o'clock. So we have some downtime right here for us to start like just doing some further analysis and kind of seeing what else is there to look at. All right, candle's closing in about 5 seconds. If you guys want to take this entry, it's going to be for a buy. Again, it has a 63% weighted average, overall of 60%, buy percentage of 66. History, it's 1 and 3 out of the 4 previous entries, and it's for a buy entry. So it's running right there in profit. It's looking good so far. Not very much drawdown on that. So I'd mark up structure over here, but there's not really much structure to mark up, right? As you guys can see, I mean, it's kind of just super far out. It's very overextended. So if I was to use my discretion, I just wouldn't even take any entries at this point because it's too far out. But if you guys want to take it again, the algo is identifying that there's a possible bullish push here. The problem is that the bullish push already happened. So I would be careful with this because it's overextended, right? This thing's pushed up how many points? I'll measure from just this floor right here. So it's pushed up almost 300 points from the floor, right? Basically from this consolidation area. It's a big push. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to keep pushing, but it's due for retracement at some point. Really, really big push to the upside. Obviously, I wouldn't want to fade my trade, so I would like this to go and push right through. But for me personally, I would just be a little cautious. But again, this is what I'm trying to take out of my trades, right? I'm trying to take my discretion out of it and just take the trades based on the algo here. Because the algo entries are hitting. It's just I just have a hard time following the algo strictly because my discretion, I've been trading for a long time, so I have a lot of discretion when I'm trading. And I've seen a couple things here and there with regard to market structure and patterns and whatnot that it just kind of makes me hesitant about certain entries. Either way, it's not a target entry. So it's not highlighted in green. It's not one that I'd personally take because it just doesn't meet my criteria. It's at 63%, so it's close to 65, but not exactly there. So what I'm seeing over here is price is starting to consolidate a little bit. I think it's going to probably go back and forth, and it's probably going to shoot right through. As long as price doesn't pull beneath here into drawdown, I think it's going to push right through. It's going to sit up here for a little bit, but eventually it's going to blast right through. So right here, this is a good sign, right? Green candle, small red candle. If this here closes as a strong green candle, I think it's going to push right through. Here's the markup from earlier. There's actually there's an imbalance right here, of course. So this actually looks good. It's a break and retest off the imbalance. And it looks like it hit target right there. Yep. It's about to hit right there, full TP. So first entry for the day right there, full TP. You can see the long entry happen right here. Long exit right there, full TP for 40 points. So this is looking good. From our statistics, Tuesdays are usually pretty good anyway. So this was expected. It's just, like I mentioned, this is why I have to remove my discretion from the trades here because you just have to take the entries, right? If you trust in the entry, you just got to take it. So we'll add this to the list. Good start to the day so far. First algo entry, full TP. First breakout entry right there, full TP as well. So 6:32 a.m. This was a win for a +2R. Looks like some of you guys here took it, so great work on that. Next one's at 7:02. So we got some downtime right here. As we have some downtime, I'm going to go ahead and check out the messages real quick. Hey, Brock, morning. Hey, Lila, morning. Let's see. Masish is Sean for the deep back test. I was going to add an extra side project that I will fund because I think it might yield interesting results. Instead of looking by day of the week, I might sort by market volume to see if trades when there's a lot of volume over a certain amount instead of one on a certain day. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one, Masish. It's good that the more data, the better, of course, right? I think the more data that we have, the better because we can make improvements and we can adjust our edge that way. And I was also looking at that too. So I was looking at the tick data, I just don't know how could we factor that in a sense, right? Because we're doing time of entry now. It's based on time of entry with regard to the algo, but there's a lot of different ways to run the momentum. We can do tick data like you mentioned by volume. You can just do by ticks, like 100 ticks, 1,000 ticks, etc. But yeah, I mean, anything to improve our edge, I'm all for it, of course. Our edge is pretty good so far. I mean, like, but of course, I want to improve it as much as possible. I think the biggest thing that we really need to factor in and figure out is going to be the proper TP stop loss. I think if we can adjust this, I think the 20-point stop loss is just a little too tight, of course. I think that's going to probably be our first improvement to the edge is really just going to be the TP stop loss. And then from there, we can incorporate, other edges like volume and whatnot. Perfect, perfect. Okay, great. No, that sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah, Missy said, I mean, some might, and there'll be minute plus seconds. Yeah, which is perfectly fine. I think that's okay. The more pinpoint we can get with entries, I think that the better, right? Because seconds can make all the difference too. Like for example, we don't if we don't enter exactly on the close and we get somewhere in between, like at the 30-second mark or the 20-second mark, I think that can help prevent us from getting caught in random pullbacks or slippage and whatnot. Because you actually could get better entry that way. Yeah, Masiche said we might also have ranges like inter long between 632 and 634 and your discretion within that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I used to I still do inner trades like that sometimes, right? Sometimes I try to wait for the price action. Um, like sometimes if the candle's like not looking good, I'll just wait for it. So I agree with you 100% on all of those points, Masiche. So hopefully we can get those tests running ASAP. I'll send you the wire later today. Yeah, so that'll be good. All right, so we got the next entry here at 7:02. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. We got some downtime between 6:39 and 7:02, the next entry right here. Steve said, I hope you're ready, everyone. We're going to have so much data, everyone can have their own edge. Yeah, I mean, once we pull the data, it's really just scraping the data, right? If we could scrape that data and we can run it through so many different scenarios, there's gonna be so many different ways to adapt to the market. I think like that's really the key thing. Once we have the data, then we can scrape it in so many ways, right? We can put it in through so many scenarios, like whether it's time-based, volume-based, uh, 40-20 TP stop loss, 50-100 TP stop loss. I think if we can figure out an edge where, well, we're going to figure it out eventually. It's just we got to run it through the scenario. I think if we can get an edge where the TP stop loss is like a little bit wider. Like right now we're at 40-20. If we can do like a 25-50, 30-60, 40-80, 50-100, somewhere something like that. I think that would be pretty much game changer, right? If we can do like a 50-100 or somewhere around that area, because I think that's a good cushion and safety net for stop loss. And just taking like one trade or even two trades per day, I think it'll pretty much be a pretty big game changer for us. Uh, because we really just need like one good trade per day, right? If we can do one good trade per day, then that's going to take us pretty far because that's basically what we were doing. Like, let's look at our stats. So here's the stats for November. It's not anything crazy, of course. Like I said, I didn't really take anything this month. I took a couple trades yesterday. I took like three trades yesterday. And you can see over here, I made a little bit of profit, but for the whole month so far, it's been kind of stale because of the slippage and volatility. Um, but yeah, going back to October, most of these days we took like one or two trades. Some days three, but for the most part, it's like one or two trades. So if we can stick to one or two quality entries per day, I think that's all we really need, as long as they're quality, of course. Yeah, Masih said, well, we will have the best edge by February based on preliminary back testing. It's going to be around 90-50, so a bit more than a 2-to-1. That's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, anything with a positive risk reward would be great. I think that'd be beneficial, of course. All right, so we got price coming back down right here. I'm going to mark up some structure. The structure isn't necessary, but I'm just marking it up myself because I think this is going to be a good identifier where price is going to likely move to. All right, so next entry is at 702, guys. We got some downtime right here. With that being the case, let's go ahead and take a look at the overall market. Let's take a look at the orb, actually. I know a lot of you guys still like to take the orb, of course, right? So the orb over here, I mean, depending on how you like to take it, if you took it right on the close right there, I mean, depending on what your TP stop loss would be, it looks like it would have stopped out, honestly. I don't think the orb here would have worked out. If you took it immediately on the break and close, which I don't think anybody does, um, it would have lost. If you took it on the close over here on the first candle, it still would have lost. If you guys take it right here on the retest, it still would have lost. So I've been seeing a lot of people post the orb hitting, but for the most part, when I see the orb over here, it's not very accurate when it comes down to. I mean, not every day, of course. Like yesterday was good, right? Perfect right here. Break and retest, or if you took it on the close, would have been great either way. But I just don't find the consistency with the orb as much, specifically during choppy markets. Today, I would have thought it would have worked well because it's shot up so heavily. But yeah, I'm not taking the orb on that one there. All right, so we got price kind of bouncing around over here. The next entry is going to be here at 702. It's not a target entry, but it's here on the list. So if you guys are looking to take the 702 entry, it's going to be with momentum. It's going to have a weighted average of 60%, overall average of 55, buy percentage of 45, sell percentage of 66. It's won two out of the previous four entries, and it's for a sell. So if you guys are looking to take this entry right here at 702, it's going to be for a sell. We got price kind of just going back and forth right here. We do have the sell momentum. So if that's the case and it holds until this point later, basically what you want to see here happen is price to kind of balance out and then come back down like that. One thing that I was playing around with, um, so TradingView has this built-in indicator. It's called all chart patterns. I personally don't like using chart patterns, but I think this is kind of a cool tool to see where price is likely to go to, right? So like instead of having to do all the patterns yourself, it kind of just draws it up for you. So right here, there's like a rising wedge happening. I mean, if price breaks below this point right here, basically 46, we're probably not going to get there today because this is like a 200, 300 point drop. But if it does drop this far, this could be a possible reversal from here. If price breaks below this structure because it's in a big range right now on the 1 hour. That's a possibility. Or if that's not the case, you can just continue rising higher, right? So I thought this was kind of a cool tool here that TradingView allow or provides, I guess. You can even go on the 1 minute. I don't think there's anything here on the 1 minute though. Bullish flag. I like the 1 hour though. So I'll leave it at that and we'll come back over here. Again, our entry is not till 702, so we got some downtime right here. I'm not trying to use patterns or technical analysis or any of that stuff really to influence the trade. Again, I'm trying to take out my discretion completely, right? The only way to do that is to just not even look at other things because there's just no point. Um, the edge is there. It's got to follow. So this is today's go entries. So I'll be updating these as we go, of course. Um, I guess I can update the spreadsheet now. Yeah, so if you guys want to see the spreadsheet, I have everything listed here. This is pretty much everything from, I guess, this month for the most part. There's more of these target entries that are listed, but these are going to be all the entries that I have for today, and I'll update them as obviously as we progress. So here we go as we retest this lower area right here, right? We're in a huge range, as you guys can see. Huge back and forth range right here. Um, this is where a lot of people are getting screwed. I've seen a lot of people get messed up in this market because of this huge range. The thing is that I like the range here. It's a smooth range. It's not a choppy range. It's actually going back and forth pretty smoothly as price continues to bounce around. So let's go from our algo chart to our main markup chart because I mean this thing's a mess. It is definitely a mess right now. Damn, this thing came all the way down. It shot all the way up and it came all the way back down. This is previous structure. That's crazy, right? Look at this big push to the upside. 300 point push up. So 350 point push up. And then from up here, a 400 point drop down. That's so crazy, right? Within an hour right here. The range here is pretty insane. The I could already tell the people who took the buys here, they got screwed 100%. And the people who are taking sells here are probably going to get screwed too. It's probably going to come right back up. But yeah, basically a 350 point push up, then a 400 point drop down. It's like basically all those gains just got wiped out. Let me check CNBC. I'm curious what's causing this big drop. It's a really big drop. So I guess this is the main breaking news for right now. So Ukraine reportedly agrees to US brokered peace proposal. This was just announced right now, 6:39. It's about 10 minutes ago. Let's see. Sam said to check out the 1 hour. Oh my God, it is 1 hour candle. I think it's huge. Look at that huge wick on the 1 hour, guys. That's crazy, right? You don't really see stuff like that unless so you see it like this because this is a news event, right? This is like a big high impact news event. This isn't really a news event. It just shot up and then it came right back down. Again, this is another reason why I don't like trading technicals because stuff like this happens. I just like to trade off the data, of course. There's nothing wrong with trading technicals, but for me personally, I don't like trading them because it's so unpredictable. Let's see, iPhone said lost revenue for the defense companies. Okay, I could see that. Yeah, with the war ending. Let's see, Barack said these are the worst times to trade alone. Yeah, I mean this is a real prime time for a lot of people to overtrade and revenge trade, right? If you get burned on the buys here, you probably would have chased the sells, but you probably would have chased it pretty late down here, and now you're getting burned on the sell side, price probably pushing right back up. Yeah, Nixon. Now that is a drop. Yeah, crazy drop right there, guys. Almost I think 500 points at this point. Yeah, 460 points drop within a minute, or not a minute, within minutes. Sorry, like maybe 10 or yeah, about 10 minutes or so. It's a lot. 500 points getting erased from the market. Hey, Paul. Paul said, hey, Sean, I had some extra money, decided to try again. Much calmer, have learned a lot from Warren Buffett videos until the breakout is more stable, won't be taking it. Paul said, can you help me refresh the depth of market tool to set up? Um, honestly, I don't use MetaTrader anymore, Paul, so I can't really help you with that. I don't even have MetaTrader on my computer. So I mean, you can look up videos, just look up depth of market for MetaTrader if that's what you're using. But I don't use MetaTrader, so I can't even pull it up to show you. But it's not very difficult. You just gotta use the depth of market. I think the first box is going to be your lot size, and then the two boxes after that are your TP stop loss. I mean, there might be a video on the course. So if you want to go to the website, you can also go to CodyKaiTrades.com, log in, and then look for that video. It's there somewhere. It's on here somewhere. I just don't remember where because that's we haven't used MetaTrader in like 2 years. So uh yeah, I have no idea where to point you with regard to that. But I know there's YouTube videos and there's also videos on here. It's just it's so outdated that we don't. I mean, I don't even remember how to use that stuff for the most part. It's not difficult though. If you just set it up, it should be good. All right, so we got nothing here right now. I am following first or not first, but the next target entry again is going to be at 7:02, guys, if you guys are looking to get into that. So let's extend this out a little bit. And I will put another support level right here. I'll just extend it out. So, I mean, price respected this previous support right here. This goes out pretty far actually until last night. All right, so if you guys are looking to get into this entry right here at 7:02, you're looking for a sell signal to come up before then. I mean, it's not there yet, but it is, obviously making its way down, or it's making its way back up before it makes its way back down. So if you guys remember the pattern I showed you guys earlier, I mentioned retracement up, continuation down. Doesn't mean this is going to happen, but that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Yeah, Nick said, "Oh yeah, like I had a trade come up, way red flag." So yeah, I think the open right here, I think this threw off a lot of people because it shot up so high and then it came right back down and now it's pushing right back up. Let's see, the drop started happening right here around 6:39. So it looks like as soon as that Ukraine deal came up, you can see the time over here when it came up, right? 6:39. So as soon as this was published, a lot of people started selling off, it looks like. So I think this had a lot to do with the drop. And then now people are buying the dip right back up. So you just pay attention to the times of reporting, right? 6:39 or 6:39 at over here, right there. So as soon as that deal was announced, came down about 500 points. That's how you can kind of tie news to like market movement. And I already know like other trading people out there are going to say, oh, they knew this was going to happen because it hit a support, right? Or a resistance. I hate when people have some sort of opinion on like what happened, but it's like after the fact. You never see someone say, oh, this price is going to reach this point, it's going to come right back down, right? They always say it after. Once it comes down, they're like, oh, yeah, there's a support up here or a resistance up here. I'm like, okay. But realistically, if you look at that at 6:39, it was really the news event. There's no other news events here that would have caused anything to drop like that for the most part. Nasdaq's down 128 points right now. Nvidia heads for the worst month since 2022. Damn, Nvidia has dropped a crazy amount. Went from 200 to 172. It's actually a good time to buy Nvidia, probably. Nice dip. I might even buy into Nvidia at this point. All right, so we got nothing here right now. Let's see what we got. Yeah, sure, Brock. I'll take a look after. Yeah, because I remember from your message, I didn't realize you needed everything. I thought you just needed the algo because that's what you asked for. But it's okay. I'll check a little later. I think we just need to update everything on yours. It seems like every month you have like a new username, Brock, for TradingView. Is you just keep creating new accounts? I'm assuming that's what you're doing. It seems like you have a new account every week, every month. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so you're just doing the free account basically every month. I see what you're doing. Oh, guys, so just a heads up, if you guys wanna renew your here, I'll put it up here actually. I don't even know where the link's at. It's got to be somewhere over here. If you want to renew your trading view, it's like 80%. This is the best time to renew your trading view. So here's the offer link. I'll put it over here in the chat. This is literally the best time to hold on. Sorry guys. Okay, here we go. This is the referral link to get the 80% off. I'm thinking right now if I want to upgrade to the ultimate or if I want to stick to the what if it's not letting me give you guys a link here for some reason. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's like you're basically it's so cheap. Like if you're gonna use TradingView, use this link, guys, if you guys wanna and I'll post it in the YouTube as well. Like this is the best deal if you're gonna use TradingView either way, so like you might as well renew it. So here's the deal for TradingView right now. It is It's 80% off. Like I only upgrade or I only renew my trading view at on Black Friday every year because this is the best deal that you'll ever get for a trading view. It's for the next 3 days. It's 80% off plus one free month. So like it's so cheap, guys. Like the thing is, you're not. There's no way of getting away from TradingView, right? You're gonna keep using it regardless. So you might as well update it here or upgrade it here, because normally this would be like 500 something, and it's only 217, and you get a free month. So I'm thinking right now, I've been on premium for like I don't know, like 12 years now. I'm thinking if I should upgrade to the ultimate. The only thing that I'll really get out on the ultimate is going to be the tick data, plus it's going to be give me a lot more I guess, screens and whatnot. So I don't really need it, but I'm thinking because I need Ultimate to get professional data. I don't know if anybody here is on Ultimate, let me know. I want to know if it's even worth upgrading, but I've been on Premium for a while now. So this is a steal, right? A whole year for 200 bucks. Normally you'd pay about 600. So yeah, if you guys are using TradingView and you're going to continue to use TradingView, which I'm sure everybody is, today or this week is the best time to upgrade because they only come up with this deal once a year. So every year Black Friday, I always add a year or a couple years to it. Because the thing is the price just keeps going up, right? If you look at TradingView, this used to be dirt cheap before. Like this used to be like 200 bucks. This used to be the price for normal and be like under 100 bucks for a whole year. Now, it seems like every year they just keep bumping up the price. So I usually try to stock up on time for TradingView. So, yeah, if you guys want to do that, feel free. Also, right now is the best time to sign up for Apex, guys. So Apex right now, the total cost to like buy an eval and then like I know 80% doesn't seem like a big jump, but if you pass the eval and then you get to the activation phase, the activation fee is only 40 bucks. So if you do the math with those two, this right now is the best deal for Apex as well. So if you guys want to, you know, get some Apex accounts or update. If you can pass it within a month's time, this is going to be the best time to to sign up for an Apex account. I know a lot of you guys are waiting for that 90%. The 90% is not going to happen. And if it does, it's going to cost more for for the activation. So right now is literally the best time to sign up for Apex. If you want to sign up for Apex, I'll get that link for you guys too. Yeah, 'cause I know a lot of you guys have been asking for that, and like the thing is like you guys got to think about it. 10% is not going to make it's not going to make or break. The real deal is the activation fee. It's only $40. All right, guys, you have the entry coming up right here at 702. It's actually not going to it's not going to set up for an entry here. So there's no entry here for 702. The reason for no entry is because there's no sell signal which came up before the 702 candle. So there's no entry there. Next one's going to be at 715. There's a sell signal here pending on 702, but the sell signal would have to come up before it. It's coming down pretty hard though. Let's see. Nick said my trade would have immediately reversal. Market had no retrace, had to retrace for sure. Yeah, it's that's kind of what I'm looking at here, especially let's see this push to the upside. Yeah, I mean, so the legs, if you guys are looking at the leg of movements here, the leg of movements are very, very far out. Like the first one over here was 300 points. This was a 500 point leg to the downside. This is a almost 300 point leg to the upside. So every time price extends in a certain direction, it's due for retracement. I mean, even this right here, right? Price is coming right back down. So these leg movements are usually my overextension is around like 100 to 200 points. So there's no entry here at 702. I mean, if it did come up, it would have been nice, but it's not coming up here right now, of course. So if the sell signal was before this candle, this would have been the entry, but it wasn't. So unfortunately, no entry there. But it looks like the algo is still identifying that sell to push down further, right? So the thing that I want to get across here is that the algo, mainly what we're identifying here is that price was going to come down, right? Because it's a sell. The momentum didn't align with it, but you can see over here that the algo it did properly identify that price was going to come down from this point. So just something to keep in mind. Let's see, Masisha, this is what I noticed. The algo knows around when the big move is going to happen. It just doesn't know the exact minute. I think I'm going to implement a 2 to 3 point minute range for entries in the deep back test. Yeah, 100% Masish. I think that's good. See, as long as we have an idea of like when the turn is going to happen, because the turn happened right here at 702, right? Like before the actual push to the downside. So like if we could have identified, the turnaround right here, which we could have, I mean, if you're using discretion here, you could see that the volume here started to die down, right? Price pushed up, volume here died down, and then the immediate push happened right here. So I think, just like you said, Masish, like if we were to look for a turnaround right here, at 702, we could have had like limit orders kind of just hanging out right here, right? Like we could have like a limit sell order just hanging out like at the bottom wick so that when it came down, the actual entry would happen like right here. It would just fill an order immediately and go straight into target, right? Because I've done this before. This is like how like CJ, you're familiar with the market flow strategy, right? This is kind of similar to that. We look for that turnaround price to come back and bounce off the pivots. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying right there, Masish. I think, if we can kind of factor that in into some sort of systematic way where we can identify, okay, there's like a range and we could put a limit order to just wait, basically, right? So let's go over here to 702 real quick. I want to look at, or we just looked at that one. Let's look at the 632 one actually. Um, so 632, there's like a buildup right here. And then what we could have done right here is at 631, we could have put a limit order right here at the top end of this wick, right? So even though it pulled down right here, as soon as it would have pushed right through, we could have gotten in and then it would have just went straight to target, right? So I think that might be one of the different things that we can use because see the thing with that is that like we're putting a limit order, so it's going to be easier for us to get into the position and have to like wait, right? I think that's going to be the biggest game changer there because these market orders are not it, right? I mean, as much as I love to get in right away, the market orders they're just in this type of slippage market. It's really hard to get in with those market orders because there's so much volatility. I mean, look at the ATR right now, guys. It's at 47. I don't even know how I'm going to take a trade here at 716 when the ATR is so high. This analysis that I just mentioned, this is kind of a combination between a market flow V2 and a liquidity push, right? If you guys remember my old strategy with liquidity push, this is literally the liquidity push. But and it kind of makes me curious now. Yeah, I'm actually like a light bulb just kind of went in my head. You weren't around before, Masish, with the liquidity push strategy, but the liquidity push strategy is basically what I just mentioned. We would put pending orders waiting at these top end of the wicks, top or bottom end. But the thing with this now is that we actually have the momentum here, right? We have the times where it's going to happen. So, like for example, um, let's just use 715 for an example, right here, right? This is supposed to be against momentum for a sell. So like say for example, price pushes up and it comes down a little bit and it comes right back up. We can put a pending order hanging out right here, right? Because when it comes down, it'll just fill the order and go right through. So I'm glad we talked about this because this now is making a lot of sense. The liquidity push was one of our favorite strategies for the longest time. It's just we have another tool here to identify actual momentum. Because what we're doing is we're basically just having a pending order waiting to get filled. Like for example, price is pushing up right here. As we get closer and closer, we can just put a pending order just hanging out right here, right? So as soon as it pushes down, it'll fill. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, Missy said I watched that video on your strategy. It's into the Discord. Yeah, it's a good strategy. I think we have the missing piece here now. We have the algo to actually tell us what times to look for. So like at that point, we can kind of just wait. Okay, so I'm a little curious now. When you get to the 715, I'm gonna like identify that, and then I'm not gonna take the entry, of course, but I'm gonna just stick like a penny order just hanging out there to see if it fills. Or maybe I'll just take it on my prop accounts. I think that's what I might do. Might just take it on my prop accounts. Yeah, Sam said that's what I was thinking the other day. Your algo at the moment is very good in identifying impulse moves. Yeah, that's well, I mean, we've all kind of like thought about that too, right? I think it's like if having the impulse or like you mentioned, the impulse moves in a sense, it definitely helps a lot because it just gives you an idea, like a range of like where to look at. That's why like when these kind of line up together, like for example, the 715 and 716 are both sells. Between this range right here, it's probably going to come down at some point. And then I mean the 717 is a little bit of an outlier. It's the only buy here because everything else is a sell. So yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna see shit. Okay, I'm gonna figure out a way to make the algo figure out exact limit order prices from the deep back test. This is going to be crazy. Yeah. Another thing that we can use as well, Message that you can just maybe keep in mind is like whole numbers, right? I think the whole numbers also help. That's why I have a levels indicator here. Like if we get in at whole numbers, that's because if you just put the levels on here, you can kind of see that they line up, right? So like for example, if we have momentum coming at a certain point, we can always get in at, I mean, these whole numbers are kind of big, but if you're to make it a little bit tighter, right? Like maybe 10 points. Like that's kind of where we can do too. Like very specific, just like exact number of price points, because usually those are like psychological numbers in a sense. Or if you want to use bigger ones, we can use bigger ones too. We get in at these psychological numbers, of course. So yeah, I'm glad that everybody here, we're all brainstorming. We're kind of figuring out things that could improve our edge. Because obviously, it's a game changer. It's beneficial to all of us here, of course. So I'm glad that everyone here, all of our minds are coming together and everyone's getting creative with what we're looking for. Yeah, exactly. Masisha, yeah, that's what I meant. It won't be super specific, but it'll be around a certain level. I agree. CJ said, bro, please don't let anyone get access to any of the indicators. Too good. Yeah, I mean, at this point, well, the regulators don't want me to really share the algo anyway, so I can't really, well, I technically can, but I'm not going to. Um, Yeah, we might have to take the list off like the streams for the most part. Like I'll post the list here in the Discord, but I probably won't be posting it on the public stream anymore because I swear like the regulators are waiting for the very last minute to send me an update because I was supposed to get the disclosure document. Well, it's supposed to come by tomorrow. So tomorrow's the latest day that it's going to come. But before they weren't really taking that long. They were asking me to take down Cody Kai trades with regard to the algo. So that's probably gonna be the next step, but it's okay. I mean, we're still gonna live stream. It's just we probably won't be sharing the actual timed entries, um, to the stream, which is fine. Not a big deal. All right, so let's see what happens here. We're getting closer to that 7:15 again. I'm like really curious to see what happens here at 7:15, or even closer to it. We're not there yet, but we'll see. So what I'm looking for right here is I'm looking for price to kind of climb up a little more. And then again, I think like the entry over here would probably be a little closer to like wherever the wick's at, or specifically like wherever price will start to reverse to the downside. Yeah, CJ said exactly. I don't know if you saw my message yesterday, Sean, but that's what I've been doing with my other accounts on the higher time frames. That's how I knew market was going to drop and entered at 640. Yeah, no, exactly. It's really good to use the criteria there. Jesus is asking for Apex, what plan do you use? Trade Don't use Rhythmic or Wealth Charts. Wealth Charts is like their own platform, which is not super good. And then Rhythmic, it's kind of an issue if you want to trade multiple accounts, because if you're trading NinjaTrader, you can only log into one at a time. So I would do Trade because you can trade with more. You can trade with more on there. I mean, you could trade with like basically if you want more accounts, yeah, you'd need to have the Trade so you can trade the copier and whatnot. Masih said he's on Ultimate. Yeah, I think so. With Ultimate, Masih, is that because I was looking at that data, I wasn't sure if the data was part of the reports or if it was just candles on screen. I was trying to do some research on it, but I wasn't sure. Oh, okay, you get more data. That makes sense. All right, guys, 6:15 is or 7:15 is coming up shortly, guys. If you guys want to take this, I mean, it looks like you probably could have gotten in right here, honestly, like what we just talked about. If we're just trading within a range, the entry could have probably happened right there. And it looks like it probably would have hit already 40 points. So this is just trading within the range like we just talked about. If you want to get in exactly at 7:15, you could maybe get in. So if you want to get in later, then it'd probably be like right here. Obviously, pending order, just kind of chilling, waiting for this to get filled. So no entry there yet, but we're going to use this as an example, this 7:15. There's another entry right here at 7:16. This is an actual entry. It's not going to fit the criteria here though, guys, because it's against momentum. We already have a sell momentum here, so there's no entry there. We're just basing it off the probabilities. Nice. Yeah, Masij said he was in already at 619, already at full TP. Okay, nice work. Yeah, so Masij got in earlier. Looks like if you guys wanted to put a pending order right there, it would have filled. So now it would have been filled and running. This is 716. There's no entry here for 715. And there's no entry here at 716. Guys, just a heads up. If you guys are wondering, there's no entry. The reason why there's no entry here at 715 and 716 is because these are against momentum, right? For a sell. But there's no let me take this off. I don't want you guys to think I'm in anything. So there's a sell momentum here, and these are both for sells. The 716 could be an entry though. So if it's something that you guys are looking at, this one could possibly be an entry. I personally, I don't know if I'll go against momentum like this. The ATR is again super, super high. So no entry for 7-7. There's gonna be an entry here for 717 though. I just don't think this here's a good. I'll wait for the later ones. All right, so the 717 is actually running right now. This is an actual entry that is running. It's like one of the target entries that lined up. So it's currently running in profit right here. Let's see. Sam said, "Damn, I was trading against." It's all good, Sam. I mean, there was no entries around that time, so you weren't really trading against us. Like we weren't in any positions. Because the 716, there was no entry here. It was against momentum for a sell. Because there was a sell momentum already active, this here would be an entry. Same with the 15. It was against sell momentum. 717, this here is against momentum for a buy. It has a weighted average of 71.39, overall of 65, buy percentage of 77, sell percentage of 54. It won two out of the four previous entries. Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad, Wes. Yeah, thanks, Wes, for confirming that. So the 717 there just, I mean, it would have been around the same area, but it just closed right there. So it's actually now running right now. This is where it gets kind of messy when the entries come up right after each other because they start to overlap, right? 715, 16, 17. The 717 would have closed right here on this specific candle, this like little doji looking one. So they all would have happened around the same area for entry. If you guys wanted to do what we talked about earlier, I guess you would just have your pending order hanging out right there, right? If you wanted to get in a little later for that fill. The problem with this here, so this is what I was talking about earlier, right? This is like the 717 is a little bit of an outlier. The reason why I say that is because everything here is for a sell, right? This is a sell, this is a sell, these are all sells here, and there's just one buy. So this is a little bit of a tricky entry because this shows you that there's going to be like one partial push to the upside, which is kind of what it's happening right now. It's just a small push, not a necessarily like reversal to the upside, like a full on, reverse to the upside type move. It's more so like fill, hit target, and then come back down type move. So we'll uh we'll see. But this trade is running right now. This is a target entry at 717. Like I said, like I just mentioned, it's a weird entry because usually I like to see when they're all moving in the same direction. And they're all moving in the same direction except for this one entry at 717. It's more of a retracement type entry. So you can see how price was kind of coming down. And I was looking for a retracement up right here, possible continuation to the downside. So probably retracement up, hit target, and then come right back down after. Honestly, I hate these types of chops. This is what happened yesterday when we took the 716, if you guys remembered. So I took the 716 yesterday and it chopped up so hard that like it basically hit my stop loss and then it went straight to target right after. This is also why I don't like trading against momentum. See how these are against? Because I don't like trading against it. I like to go with momentum, not against it. So looks like this one over here did not play through. Completely fine. We're still at 1R for the day if you guys took every entry which came up. So this is going to be a loss. And this is just, this is realistic market, guys. Like you can't win every single trade, right? Especially a holiday week like this. It's Thanksgiving. The volatility here is starting to die out a bit. Next entry is going to be at 6:30, 7:32. This one I'll probably look to take though. So the ones earlier, I wasn't really looking to take. This again, let's just go back to what we were just talking about earlier with regard to having a range instead of an exact time. So we talked about this just a while ago. Um, See, if we use the range here, the entry actually would have never filled because it would have to reach this point here to fill the pending limit order, right? Um, so, just using different types of edge here. I mean, we have the foundation of the direction here, but then if you're using those limit orders that we just talked about, it just would have never came up to fill up around this point because price never pushed up high enough. Let's see what we got over here. So here's the total entry, 632.1, 717 loss, 1R. So we're currently at 1R for the day. First one was a 2R win, 1R loss. So still positive 1 hour for the day. I'm going to be looking to get into this one at 7:32 though. This is going to be a sell with momentum. Let's see. So let's just go back to that previous one at 7:17. I'm just curious to see like if we were to put those limit orders earlier, or I guess not really earlier, but no. So I'm just looking at the entries over here. This is where it becomes a problem. Market's choppy. So let's go with 7:15 between 7:15 to 7:16. These were pretty much sells. Price came down a little bit. If we would have done what we just talked about, I guess it would have just filled. No, if there's too much discretion with that, we got to figure out some sort of like we either stick to the exact time or we have some sort of we'll just have to wait because Masij is going to pull the data together, and once we have some sort of concrete entry points, then we'll use that. I think the whole numbers probably work best in these wicks here. Yeah, I think the whole numbers will probably work best because the wicks are so random for the most part. Yeah, Masij said it would not have made a difference for that. I'm going to make the algo choose a price range. We don't want any human decision. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Masij. I think that the less human, like, yeah, the less human decision, the better, because we don't want to have the ability to be subjective. We want to be as objective as possible. So let's see, we got the next entry that's coming up over here later at 7:32. Again, these are the list for the trades for today, guys. One win at 7:32, one loss at 7:17. Next target entry is going to be right here at 7:32. What I like to see here is the volatility slow down a little bit. This is going to be ideally for a sell. So looking at the 7:32, it's going to be with momentum, 70% weighted, 55% overall, 30% for buy, and 85% for sell. It won 2 out of the previous 4 entries. So with that being the case, we're going to be looking for a sell here at 7:32. Well, ideally, what I'd like to see here is possibly a push to the upside and then, correction right back down. Let's see. CJ said there's also an entry at 7:20 against momentum on the higher time frames. Cool. So at that 7:20, is it for a sell or for a buy, CJ? I'm assuming it's for a sell, right? 7:20. Yeah, that made sense for a sell. So limit order could have been waiting somewhere around. Yeah, I like looking at the whole numbers. Probably 6:30. Drop or 65 points right there. Okay, yeah, you were spot on with what I just said, CJ. I said 6:30 and you're like, yeah, 6:30. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. So it seems like, if you use the whole numbers or the closest whole number, that does help a lot. All right, I'm going to mark up some more structure here just to kind of identify where price is likely to bounce from if it does bounce. So you guys can see the ranges here are pretty clear, right? It's pretty obvious where price is kind of bouncing from and moving from. Looks like this is the main area where price tries to pull back to. There's outer ranges, but for the most part, I mean, price, you can see it's kind of wavy right here. Big range, now back into the little range here. Nice work, Sam. Yeah, Sam said full TP on his inverse fair value. Nice wins right there, Sam. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of imbalances here. I know that I'm looking at it. That was an imbalance right here. That was a break and retest right there off the imbalance. There's another one right here. I mean, they're all over the place. So yeah, you were pretty spot on with those for sure. All right, so let's take a look at market structure over here with regards to market profile. And look at these candles right here. So these are basically the opening candles. So this 630, see this huge wick on both ends. It pretty much spiked out all of the market profile right here. Came up, knocked out the value high from yesterday, knocked out the point of control, value high from today, value low from yesterday or for today as well. Yeah, huge spike candle right there. 630. Basically 630 to 7. All right, we're getting closer to the 630 or 732 candle right here, guys. If anybody's looking. Yeah, Masish said I'm liking this push up, hoping it flattens out before 632. Yeah, same here. Ideally, I'd like to see it flatten out around that point. See, the problem is the volume is so high that these levels here, I mean, I wouldn't be able to use the levels tool. I would have to just kind of eyeball it or wherever the next whole number is right here. 30, yeah, between 30 or 40, looks like. See, Brock said, looking at the 732 entry, hope momentum will be against so we can take the buy. The 732 entries for a sell, Brock. So we're looking for a sell here, not a buy. It's with momentum. Rev is asking, you're going to be taking the 732. I mean, if we get it, but I don't think we're getting it here because it's with momentum, so we have to look for that sell signal. And if we don't get a sell signal from now until then, we have about 2 minutes basically. I mean, it can come up. There's still some time in between. Um, in order for it to come down. So we'll see here if it turns around. But I mean, it can. We have about 2 minutes right here. So what might happen right here is we might get a double top off this resistance. If you're looking at it from the technical side. See the rising wedge here tried to break below that structure, but it didn't. Yeah, Rev, it's not looking like it's gonna happen here. Price is pushing up a little strong. But I don't necessarily think price is not going to come down. I think price will probably come down still. 710, let's see. 720. I think it's overextended at this point, honestly. I think it's going to come down at some point here. So I'm just looking at the whole numbers to see where it's going to start to flip. Yeah, so Masish that's setting sell limit orders at 730 range. That's where I'm thinking too. That's where I have it lined up right there, Masish. So if it does turn around at 732, it's going to be right here, of course, right? Jonathan took the push up as an MPSV2. Nice work, Jonathan. So Jonathan here took the MPSV2. There's a buy signal, retracement confirmation on this one. And Jonathan rolled that up with the direction of trend. Nice work, Jonathan. Yeah, so you guys can see the original strategies work perfectly fine. They were perfectly fine right there. So nice work on catching that right there. It looks like price here is not going to flip the other way. Eventually, it's going to flip the other way though, because you can see over here the 732, 731, or 733, 732. They're all kind of lining up here. So I want to push this up a little higher, maybe. Even 60 could be a good number. So we have another area over here. If, because the double top didn't have a double top here, the double top might come up to here and come down. So there's no entry here for 732. There's no momentum. Next one's at 733. This is also not going to come up. It's looking like because there's no sell momentum there. Man, just when we thought the market was going to move a little smoother today, it did the same thing it's been doing pretty much all month. A lot of inconsistency with the movement and just no setups there. Either way, it's supposed to turn around. So you can see over here, it's going to turn around at some point if it keeps moving this way. Or it should at least. So this entry right here at 732, I mean, it's still pushing up. So like if you were just to take it based off the, based off this without actually using a bias of the direction, it's supposed to be with momentum. So it identified push to the upside. Here's one thing too, Masij. I mean, and this is something that we might be able to incorporate into the filters. So there's two ways of kind of playing with the filters here. Let me show you. So it's either we ignore the momentum, right? That's one way of doing it. And obviously we could talk about this a little later, but um, so it's either we ignore the momentum and you just trade based off the probabilities, or here's the other thing. You ignore the probabilities and you look at the momentum. I mean, we would still use the probabilities, of course, but it'd be only be in the direction of the trade. So instead of overall or weighted, or we would still look at weighted, but this is another thing of doing it. So it's like we either use the momentum so that, whatever direction momentum is, like we just either ride it or trade against it. And we just go off like whatever the weight it is, right, for that specific direction. Like for example, here, the 632, it didn't come up with momentum for a sell. Like if we were to, I mean, sorry, I'll just ignore this right here. This is what would be ignored, basically. Um, like we can either go with momentum, and again, this is something that we can run just to see what the numbers look like, either with momentum and we just trade in that direction, or we don't look at momentum and we go the opposite way which is with just the probabilities. I mean, these are just different ideas, of course, but there's always going to be different ways to look at things. Because so the thing is, we want to choose one or the other, right? We don't want to really overfit it too much. Because if we overfit it too much, then we're just never going to have entries, right? Or if the entries do come up, they're going to rarely come up. There may be like maybe a few entries at a time. Um, but yeah, that's just, one thing that we can maybe look at. There's a lot of ideas. I mean, there's a lot of different ideas. Honestly, whatever has the best probability, we'll take that, right? I think that's going to be the biggest thing. It's really just going with whatever has the highest probability. I don't even care about like whatever criteria it is. It's just whatever has the best edge, we'll go with that. All right, so Masija over here is in for a sell at 770. Nice. So it looks like he trailed it up pretty high. He probably could have even trailed it up even higher at like seven. No, I think 780 is too low, too high. 770 does look good, the whole number right there. So Masij got in at 770 right there. It looks like did it hit 40 already? Not quite. Looks like price is still kind of chopping up around this area. Unfortunately, it looks like price didn't actually reach this upper area that I was talking about because I was looking for that double top to come up right here. And once that double top was to line up, would have looked for it to come down. It's 7:36 right now, so we don't have any other entries until 7:43. So I think for me, I would have just been done looking for entries at this point. I think the range was a little too far out right here for that entry, Message. But I think you did pretty good on that one, right? Nice. Okay, you got out for 30 points. Didn't like the fast several on the structure. Yeah, I think the range here kind of extended out a little too far because it looks like your entry would have filled at 7:35. I mean, I guess it wasn't too far. It was 2 minutes off from that 7:33, right? Yeah, I think the range, I think what we might have to do, Message, is the cutoff will be at the exact the time, right? So I think the range would be good right here between maybe 7:30 and 7:33. But I think the cutoff should be at 7:33. Because yeah, 7:35, I think it's a little too far off. At that point, the momentum is not even there anymore. Gotcha. Yeah, okay, no, that makes sense. 1 minute more. Okay, yeah, I agree. Yeah, because right here, see if it didn't fill by this candle here, like you mentioned, 7:34, I think at that point, price is just going to keep moving where it's already going. Gotcha. Yeah, we'll know once we have the data, of course. Yeah, CJ said, remember how I was telling you that the sessions delay the reversals that the algo predict yesterday? Price did it again, so I set a pending order at 637 for a buy, and 717 it closed and it hit. Nice, nice. Okay, cool, CJ. Yeah, the momentum is a bit lagging when it comes down to it. I mean, it gives an idea of like where price is likely to push to. But yeah, sometimes it is a little bit laggy. So if you can just read the price action and see where it's going, you tie that in with the actual algo movement or time, and it can give you that push. Yeah, CJ said, please don't ignore momentum with or against. The algo scanner will give numbers for both directions for the if the probabilities are close. Yeah, so either way, we can't really ignore it, CJ, because that's what the catalyst is based off, right? So we can only get the probabilities here if we use the momentum. So it's not going to go anywhere. It's just whether you want to use it to incorporate your analysis or not, right? And for the most part, I think it's good to just have there. I mean, you don't have to follow it, but it's good to have there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we can't take it off. There's no way we could take this off because that's how the catalyst is established, right? If we didn't have the momentum, then there just wouldn't be any data here for the because it's based off this specific momentum. This and then the time of candle. Yeah, Masish, yes, price is not respecting the algo if it passes after the 1 minute. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a little too far off. All right, guys, the next entry is going to happen right here at 7:43. This is going to be with momentum. It has a probability of 71.39 weighted, 65% overall, 54.55 for buys, and 77.78 for sells. It's 1-1 out of the previous four entries for a sell. Let me go and take a look at that real quick. So, yeah, I was just trying to see like which one of these. So one on the 14th or the 18th actually lost on this day. This is for a buy. That's for a buy. Shorts here actually okay. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I mean, these are the statistics for this specific trade. Again, 65% overall, 54% for buys, 77% for sells. The sells here look good. The only problem with this 743 entry is that we don't have a sell momentum here, right? I think this here might be a good example for what you were looking to take earlier, or what you're looking to take now, Besiege. So I think, let's see, the pending order could be waiting right here at the 90. Yeah, I think the 90 over here. Yeah, Masij also mentioned, also since we're going to change to a larger TP stop loss, we're no longer really following the whales. We'll be just following the market. won't be attached to the whims of the hedge funds. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Masij. I think it's better just to catch the flow of the market that way, right? It's probably not going to work well with prop firms unless you're using small size, but it'll be better for it to just flow through, basically. We're just going to flow with the market, basically, in a sense, right? I think that's going to be the key thing. We're not looking for those quick little price spikes or price movements. We're looking for just price to flow to our targets. All right, so looking at this so far, guys, there's not going to be an entry here. It's not looking like it. If you wanted to put that pending order, it looks like right here, Message, maybe at the 800, looks like it'd be the price point. Yeah, Masij mentioned because right now we are just capturing tiny, inefficient parts. It's not consistent enough. Yeah, I agree with you, Masij. The problem is the slippage, right? I think it would be efficient if like there wasn't slippage, if like there was no slippage at all, because we can get in and out quickly. But the problem is there is a lot of slippage, so it makes it impossible. Like we need to have a bigger range to actually survive the movements when it does kind of slip through. Yeah, I mean, it looks good on paper, but in execution, it has to actually be good on execution too, which is, I think, our main problem, right? Yeah, Masih said I miss paper trading. Yeah, with paper trading, there's no slippage. It's like you get in exactly when you get in, you get out exactly when you get out. It looks good on paper, but not just paper in general, but like what we mean like with the data, right? The data looks good, but you got to incorporate slippage. So like having a really tight stop loss is just unrealistic. So here's the thing, Masij, if we move to ES, so I think this is something that you might want to look into too. If we move to ES, I think we could probably get away with a tighter target. So we'll run the data on that if we can. Because the thing with ES is that it moves a lot slower, right? Like this, the ATR is at 26, 40, etc. Um, and on ES, it moves slower and the fills will be a little bit faster. The problem is ES is a little more choppier. So you can see over here, this big chop. It's easy to get screwed with ES in a sense because um like if we get caught in this chop here and our target is like what 5 points or whatever it may be, because it's going to be like 510 or something like that, or I don't know, 2010. Either way, we still get screwed because it's a lot slower compared to YM. Like this is too slow, I think, in a sense. I think that the better case scenario here is really to just have a wider target. All right, so the entry right here didn't come up for a sell, guys. There's no entry at 743, unfortunately. That's the last target entry for the day. Um, yeah, this over here, unfortunately, is no entry because we were looking for a sell there at 743. I mean, if you were just, again, this is what we were talking about earlier. If you were to ignore certain things, like, ignore this, and you just went with momentum, doesn't matter. Uh, with the direction of like where the bias was, this trade would have won because this would have been for a buy, right? But because we were going with the direction of the trade, which is a sell, because the probabilities are higher for a sell, this trade would have been skipped. So there's no entry there. So nothing there. Let's see. Right, Rev. No slippage on paper ever. Yeah, your entry gets in right away. That's why when a lot of people they show like their statistics are super good with like running a back test. The back tests are unreasonable, guys. Like this data here, it shows it gives us a good foundation of like that the strategy works and there's edge, but when you factor in stuff like slippage and execution times and stuff like that, you got to factor that in as well. Like you basically got to factor in losses, even though they're not losses, to understand that okay, your probability might be 65 or 77. But if you factor in, maybe 3 to 4 losses to just incorporate for slippage, then it's going to be a little bit lower. But if it's high enough, then it's going to be good enough because it meets criteria. So that pending order would have never gotten filled for the downside. Price pushed up. Let's see. Masij said, I think YM is not actually great for the algo. Do you think you could consider GL or GC or CL? They don't feel as fast, but we could capture big moves. Tested that. If you traded only on momentum, it's horrible. You need the percentages. Yeah, no, I'm open to that, Siege. Like if we can find a different asset that will yield, more of a 50% edge or closer to that point, I'm all open to changing assets. I know I've been trading YM for a long time, but the thing is like it doesn't really matter anymore what I've been trading because we're basing it off the data, right? So if the data shows that we have more opportunities for like gold, crude oil, or whatever it may be, it doesn't have to be those either. Like we can trade like basic stuff like soybean, coffee, water, stuff like that, right? Um, I'm open for any of that stuff, really. Yeah, I mean, honestly, whatever can yield the best edge, I think I'm fine with that. If I have to move away from YM for that specific reason, that's completely fine. But the thing is, I would have to stick to just one asset though, right? I don't think I can adjust between assets because because the contract sizes are different. So I think if we were to find an edge with a specific market, we would have to just stick to that market for a while, and then we just keep running different tests to see like what's hitting at that time, right? I think that's the best way to do it, Masij. I think we'll have to run it across different assets and then just see what works best, and then we'll just kind of stick to that asset for that time period. I think we can shift like from month to month, right? I think that'd probably be the best case. Obviously, we don't want to shift every day or every week. It's too quick. But I think month to month or season to season, we can kind of adjust which asset we want to focus on. All right, Barack. Yeah, Barack's done for the day. Say cheers, y'all. Been a good session. Good for the day. Hope everyone caught something. Yeah, so I'll talk to you a little later, Barack. I know I got to update yours. Masish said I love soybean. Yeah, ZS. Yeah, Barack said took out the liquidity with it. Though volatile system still works in rocks. Definitely. CJ took the 743 there for a buy. Nice work, CJ. Yeah, Masih said, yeah, sounds good. Maybe gold in the winter, then ZS in the spring and such. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different assets. So, like, we'll take a look at the list here, guys. If we just look at futures, there's a ton of different assets that we could trade. We don't have to trade YM, right? We could trade NQ, ES, GC, CL, crude oil, Bitcoin, silver, Russell 2000, Nifty, if you want to trade the Nifty. FX futures. I really don't care which one we trade. If we just stick to one for like a month's period and we see, I guess if we could run the data and whatnot, then we can kind of see what's good and what isn't really. Because realistically, that's how like a lot of hedge funds trade, right? A lot of hedge funds, they don't just stick to one asset. They kind of bounce around for like what's working at the time. So I'm all for it. It's just I gotta get something going, man. I've had such a slow November. I think we were spoiled with October. Like October was such a good month that I feel like because November was so slow, I mean, I'm not itching to take any trades, but I would love to take something, right? Like looking at October over here, like we had such a crazy month. But this is a good thing because I'm able to hold over a whole month, right? Like I made so much profit for October that I can kind of just chill for November, which is what I'm doing this month. I'm not really forcing any trades. We don't have very many losses. We don't have very many wins either. It's just kind of balanced. I've only taken like 3 trades for this whole month or 3 trading days. I've taken a lot of trades yesterday, but for the month, I've only taken like 3 trades. The good thing is that there's no losses. Well, there's losses, but there's not a lot of losses. So I'm not really hurting this month, but I'm also not really yearning either, right? I'm not excited this month because it's been so slow with regard to my entries. So it's all good. I mean, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. The last entry right here is going to be at 753. It's going to be for a sell. I don't think it's going to come up because we already have a sell signal right here. See, if the sell signal didn't come up, then there'd be an entry here because it's against momentum. But because we already have a sell signal there, I'm not expecting a buy signal to come up right now. Like I'm not expecting this to come up and then come right back down within 2 minutes. So I'm just gonna identify this as a no entry. If it comes up, I'll change it, but I'm already identifying this as no entry. Again, today there was very many opportunities. There was only two entries for the day. We're basically at 1 hour, so we're positive for the day. One win at 6:32 for a 2 hour, and then a loss at 7:17 for a 1 hour. So not horrible, but again, it's just one of those days where there just isn't very many opportunities which came up. I'm going to update the spreadsheet now. No entry. Pretty much no entries until 7:17 basically. Yeah, so today was a 1 hour day. Not exactly how I wanted today to be, but I mean, it is what it is. I'd rather have a no trade day than a losing day, of course. So no losses for the day for me. Of course, I didn't take anything. I was really hoping we'd get more entries right here around 7 o'clock, but there just wasn't anything that came up. Right, we had some setups right here, but pretty much all of them were no entries aside for 7:17, and the 7:17 was just. So here's the thing. The 717 could have went good either direction, right? The buys had a 77% and the sells over here had a 54%. Um, the problem with this is that it just didn't go against momentum. If you went just based off the probabilities over here and you ignored momentum for the most part, and that's what CJ did today. So CJ actually took the buy for 717 because CJ went directly off the probabilities, right? So nice work, CJ, on catching that. Um, didn't really catch anything myself here, but we'll see. Let's see. Masij said, yeah, sounds good. Maybe gold in the winter. Sean, could you give me a list of 10 you would like added to the data for the D-back test? 10 tickers? Sure. So let's see what we got here. I mean, there's obviously the main ones, right? I think the main ones are going to be the key things to do. So let's see. We'll say YM, which you already have, but I'll just add it to the list anyways. YM, GC, or YM, ES. I'll do these in order. What other tickers do we have here? GC, CL. We can even look at silver too. The thing is, I don't think silver is going to be volatile enough to trade, but I'll add it to the list and we could take stuff off, of course. I guess I don't know about Bitcoin though. I mean, I'll add it to the list, but Bitcoin it doesn't have enough historic data for us to really take advantage of it. And just, in my opinion, of course. We got gold on there. NG's good too. I mean, basically any of these are good, really. If we find an edge on any of these, platinum's okay. They kind of move in order. So we got like gold, silver, and then platinum. It might be even better to trade those types of assets though, because there's not a lot of people trading them. So there might be less manipulation, of course. And we could even trade the bond market if we really, really wanted to. CS, I guess. Copper. So like there's always like smaller assets. Like it goes from like gold, silver, then platinum, then copper. Um, okay, I think these are good enough. I think this is more than 10. Let me just count real quick. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got a lot here. Actually, I'll take off copper. I don't think copper is going to be good. We'll probably take off what was the S again? Probably take off the bonds. I don't think the bonds are going to move very much. Those ZN. Yeah, we can't really trade the bond market. It's too slow. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Probably take off Bitcoin. Let's see. Yeah, so this again over here, guys, 753 hit full TP, it looks like. Nice work, Ed, if you caught that. So again, guys, this is what I was talking about earlier. If you want to just take off the momentum, I mean, it's doable, right? It's doable. You can take off the momentum and just go based off the probabilities, like what everybody else is saying here. Like if you want to just go directly off the probabilities here, like for example, this over here for a sell was still lined up, but if you were to ignore the direction of momentum and you just traded with the probabilities, right? It's weighted for 60% for a sell here. The trade at 753 would have hit, even though it's no entry for me, it would have hit over here. So nice work, Ed, if you caught that. I think Ed did catch it. He's the only one that mentioned it. But again, this is going against my trading plan, so I obviously I wouldn't take it. But if you just went based off the probabilities, strictly off probabilities, it it would have hit right there. So nice work, Ed. Yeah, you could trade copper too. Here, I'll just give you a list of these right here. I think these would be, I think the Forex pair or the currency pairs are not going to be very good. So I'll take that off. If you want to look at DX, you can look at DX as well. It's a dollar index. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll just take off the dollar index. I don't think it's super necessary. But here's a list right here, Miss I'll send it over to you. Yeah, the thing with looking at these assets that a lot of people don't really trade is that it's you could find a little more consistency. It's going to be slower, but there's going to be consistency. So let me send this over to you, Message. I'll put them here on the list too if anybody wants to look at them. Um, all right, so I think this might be it, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. Let me check the chat real quick and make sure there's anything else that make sure I'm not missing anything. Let's see. Glenn said, "Hey, Sean, can you try and check the probability for trades? Do you have a specific time that you want me to check, Glenn? I can't check all of them because it's going to take forever for me to run that. But if you want me to check a specific one, I mean, like, is there a specific time you'd like to trade? I mean, I could just run it right now and we'll see if there's anything here that comes up that's yeah. So if you wanted to trade, let's say 10:30, those quick little jumpy moves, this would be basically yeah. If you were to take it, I mean, either direction here at set 7:43, it usually will hit at an 80% probability. So here, let's see. I'll just do the math real quick. Let's just see how realistic, like how profitable this would be. This is a negative risk to reward. Very, very risky, but if you have the probabilities on your hand, then it could end up being pretty decent. So 16 times 10, obviously that's 160, or shit, 16 times 10, that's 160. Um, and then 4 times 30. So I mean the profitability here is still, I guess, decent in a sense. I mean, you have 40 points basically. If the same trade was taken at this exact time every single day. So 120 points. So if you were to do the math on that, 10 times 5 times 120. I mean, it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good, Len, if you're doing Yeah, I mean, this is like if you took every single trade, it doesn't matter which direction because the probabilities are high both ways. So if you traded with momentum every day at 743, you would win basically 16 out of the trades and you'd lose four out of the trades. So if you literally just wanted to trade, what was the number again? 643? Yeah. Okay, so 643 every single day. Th This is kind of interesting now. Now that you mention this, I'm like kind of curious to see. I feel like this would be perfect for like prop accounts, right? Because you just lock in 10 points every single day. I mean, this is how we used to trade before. Huh. I'm curious now. Yeah, no, so Masij mentioned that small TP is way too hard with current slippage. So the thing with this is that it'll almost automatically guarantee, like not guarantee, but it'll close you out in profit every single time, Masij. We used to trade this way a long time ago. We used to do 1030 splits. It was a negative risk to reward, but like the win ratio is so high. I think if, and I'll probably just run this data on my own. I'll just look to see if there's like something that has a super, super high percentage, like above 90, of course, and then I would just like let it run basically. Like just basically take the same trade every single day at that specific time. Let's see, Masish said, could you really fill for 10 points each time? Seems hard to do with more. So yeah, so we used to like for I guess like 2 years ago, that's when we stopped doing that, or maybe a year ago, we stopped doing the negative risk to reward. The thing with the slippage is that it doesn't, so we give it, let me show you. We give ourselves enough cushion to like not get stopped out, but we're only going for 10 points. So like here's an example of this, right? Um, like this actually works really well. It's just when you have a back-to-back losses, it really eats into your account. Like you have to make 6 wins to recoup it, right? So looking at this here, so say for example, we enter a position at like what, like 730 every single day, right? Like see how the stop loss is so far out? Like you just need it to push in your direction just very, very quickly. The candle will move at least more than 10 points, of course. So even if you get in for slippage and it's like horrible and you're up here, it just has to move up just a little bit for it to hit. Maybe not with market orders, but with limit orders, yes. So yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, with market orders, it's a little difficult. What we would have to do, and I'm not going to do this. I'm just saying this is something I might look into. If I find something that has like, like a 95% or an above 90, then I would just put a limit order there. When the candle closed, I just drop the limit order and then let it basically fill, right? And then go in that direction. So that's something that I wouldn't do with prop accounts. It's something I would do with only prop accounts, not live funds. So maybe it's something I can kind of play around with. Yeah, exactly. So like Masish said, it seems risky to me in the type of unpredictable market we have. If you have get 3 days of losses, you're done. Yeah. That's why I say like it's only good for like say prop accounts, not for live accounts or nothing to do long term. It's just to lock in quick profits. Because if you do 10 contracts and what I used to do before is I used to set a limit, like maybe like one trade per day. We would go high contract size. So I think it was like 15 contracts when I used to do that. 15 times, we'll say like we'll say 3 days out of the week we have a trade, right? So that'd be like it's not a lot, but it's a it's like a like I guess like a quick grind. If we could find like different times that have high probability, that could probably be run. But that's more of a risky way of trading. I wouldn't recommend people trade that way. That's just more of a risky way if you want to make a quick buck, basically. Usually with just prop accounts, not with live funds, because yeah, the slippage on that is going to be pretty crazy in a sense. We used to have another strategy, it was called the momentum, I think it was called the quick scalp, right? Momentum quick scalp. Like it was good for prop accounts, but once I started doing it on my live accounts, man, it was a mess. It wasn't good. Yeah. So Masij over here mentioned with a 1 to 3, you need a 75% win ratio to be in profit. Exactly. So you got to be very, very accurate. That's all I was saying. I would only maybe look at that if it was above like a 90, right? And I would only go with momentum. I wouldn't go against it. Like you have to have a super, super high win ratio to make that work. And I'll probably play around with it. I think I'll probably do this like maybe off session, of course. I'll just kind of like look through all the numbers here um, to see. But yeah, I definitely don't want to go back to this way of trading. This way of trading was very stressful because once you have once you have two losses, you're really starting to sweat because you're going to be really close to blowing your account if you have another losing day. Like you'd have to be really on point with the data. But I'll take a look at it. Yeah, Messi said I would have a heart attack daily. Yeah, you'd be sweating. I mean, you'd be sweating if your trade goes to drawdown even just a little bit because it could easily screw up your account. It could royally screw up your account, as people would say. CJ said I still do the pivot bounce for fun from time to time. That's another thing too. So CJ used to take this other trade. Yeah, this other trade where it would do the pivot balance. It's kind of similar to the market flow V2s. Let me scroll down real quick. Let's see. Masish said, Sean, I sent a message earlier, but you didn't see it. I want to let you know that I'll be out for a week, early December. I'm flying home to San Francisco. Yeah, no, definitely. That's fine. I'm gonna be away that same week too, Masish. So I'll be trading with you guys, but I'll be away. Let me see. Yes, also the first week of December. I'll be in Sinaloa, Mexico for a wedding. So I'll be there for a couple days. I'll still be trading with you guys. I think so next week, guys, there's gonna be like maybe yeah, maybe 1 or 2 days. I might not be trading. Well, I for sure won't be trading Thursday. Maybe not Friday, because I'll also be traveling, guys. I'll be traveling. I'll be in the air during that time. My flight's like at 6 a.m., so I don't think I'll be able to get on live with you guys. I'll get you guys the list of trades, but I'm probably not going to be live on the 4th. So we'll be on the same schedule. Or you can do it too, Masij. If you want to share yours, you can do that. I'll also share mine as well, if you want to share both. But yeah, I'm gonna be away first week of December, just Friday to Saturday. I'm going to Sinaloa. It's like if you guys are familiar with Sinaloa, it's like it's the cartel capital of Mexico. I'm going there for a wedding. It's kind of dangerous out there. It's really dangerous actually out there. I'm just gonna be there for a couple days. Uh, and I'm coming right back after the wedding. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it's funny. Whenever I tell people I'm going to Sinaloa for next month, everyone is like, "Be safe." That's like literally that's like the biggest cartel in Mexico from Sinaloa. But I'm there with like locals, so it's not like we're gonna go to bad areas. Just gonna be there for a day and then probably just gonna stay at the resort. I'm not gonna leave the resort. I'm not trying to get kidnapped. I shouldn't even say that. Give myself some bad luck. But all right, guys, I'm gonna play around with these with the data here. I'm gonna see if there's anything that I can find that's above like a 90%. If I do, I'll share it with you guys and I'll just give you guys a time if you guys want to take that 10-30 split type entry. But other than that, I think that might be it. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. I will still be around for a little bit. I gotta do some stuff outside the session. I'll get that wire to you soon, Message, so we can get started. I'm excited. I'm super excited for like what me and Message are kind of putting together here. We're gonna have so much data and so much information to kind of siphon through and figure out how to improve our edge with this entry. As you guys can see, the strategy is good, but we're trying to make it better, right? If you guys look at the spreadsheet here, the spreadsheet's not bad. I mean, if you guys look at the stats, we're currently at 1R for the day. We had one win at 632, one loss over here at 717. This week hasn't been super great with regard to target entries, but that's normal, right? It's a holiday week. It's Thanksgiving week, so we were expecting the market not to be super consistent, and that's kind of what's happening here. But overall, I mean, the strategy's been good and it's been hitting. So all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me. Yeah, message that without overfitting, that's key. We just need so much data, but we need to just find one catalyst, right? One catalyst, whether it be momentum, whether it be time-based, whether it be range-based, whether it be whatever it might be. Whatever has the highest edge, we're going to improve on that, and then we're going to adapt with that as market continues to, kind of kind of make some changes. But yeah, guys, I'm excited for what's to come. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I will see you guys here on the next live session. So, all right, guys, I'll see you guys here tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, hit me up on Discord. Otherwise,